Hey Jonathan, here with the Poker World Champion here at the WPT World Championships. Jonathan, an amazing performance this summer in the World Series main event. How is it been over the last few months? Is it still sunk in yet?
You never feel like it's you, because you just see it on TV. It's like, that can't be me. That'll never be me. And then somehow it was me. So the reality is when the money hit the bank account, but it still doesn't feel real because you just walk around. It's like, wait, I'm that person.
So we're obviously with such a big score and then having to put that in the bank, how does someone go about it?
Well, first, when the money hit the bank, I took a screenshot of the bank balance, because I'll never have that money in the bank in a bank account ever again, because then it goes wherever it needs to go, taxes, savings, wherever the money I put it, wherever. And then you just have to get used to the attention, because before this, like, I was pretty much in media, like I'm a semi-nobody, and then now I get thrust into the spotlight, and you always think that you're ready for it in the back of your mind, but you're never ready for it.
And post the main event win, what have been some of the highlights for you? What have you been up to in that time from winning Poker's World Championship?
So right after, I went back to refereeing high school football in Texas, because that's what I do. Because you can't leave your crew high and dry. I could play other tournaments, but I didn't. I stayed this season. I'm still going to do it because I need something else to do. Because I'll have a lot more time on my hands, because the hours of cash that I was playing, mid-stakes cash, just isn't a thing anymore. I don't need to do it. I don't need to stress myself through it. The other adjustment is, how do I study now? Because now studying is different. Like, the network is different now, and just not being complacent, because you always try to get to the top of the mountain, but you never think you're going to get there. And now you're there for my goals, at least. It's winning to me. It's not a realistic goal for everybody, but now I'm there. So the attention is an adjustment. Usually I'm the quiet one at the table, so like nobody even knows I exist half the time. A lot more of the high stakes guys talk to me now, just here and there, just nothing too special. Nothing outside the ordinary of, we're not going to clubs, and strip clubs and stuff like that. But, it's one of my friends told me, it's kind of true, it's like, it's kind of cool to know you right now, which is a weird thing to say.
And I know at the final table you had your parents watching, if I remember correctly. How proud of you were they after all the confetti settled?
Oh, they were proud as hell. Initially, they didn't know what happened, because they don't understand poker. They don't know how to read a board. So now, they just kind of watched from the outside, and now all of a sudden they got interested, and now I got to teach them the game. The hardest one is trying to teach my mom the concept of your pocket pair being counterfeited. She's like, wait a second, he has fives. How come it doesn't win on like king 7 7 4? It's like, well, and she's like, oh. She was under this impression that you had to play all 7 cards. As a 7 card, I was like, no.
The 10 million windfall. Has there been any sort of luxurious purchases at all in the 10 million? What have you been doing, if that's something you want to share with that?
The first thing I bought was a 10-pound box of Jelly Bellies, all lemon. So here's your diabetes for you, everyone. And then I was already going to replace my driver, my bag for my golf clubs, and at that point I said, let's just do the whole set, because some of the clubs, the irons, I tend to not change out that often. You don't need to. They're 7 years old and my swings changed, so I shelled out for that. So that was $4,000. That's really it. 'Cause I have a car that runs. It's a 2019 Honda. Like, it runs fine. I don't need a new car. And I tell people, like, yeah, I might be rich now, but I'm not Ferrari rich.
What's poker been like for you in terms of, like, have you been playing much? Like, I know you said you sort of your cash grind has stopped a bit. Is it just a focus on tournaments now? Are you looking at any high rollers, or are you very much still the same Jonathan Tamayo, feet on the ground, very unassuming, just getting the business done quietly?
It's going to be more the same, because I know that I'm probably not beating those high rollers, and the amount of effort from where I am now to get there, to get that 10, 12. 8%, whatever the ROI is, just doesn't seem appealing. Like, I'll do my studying, but it's geared towards a lot of the mid-stakes, big field, exploits rather than having a super solid base strategy that's unexplored that won't, because it just doesn't print as much if you just stick to that, it just doesn't print as much as it would going with the exploits in a bigger field, where in a high roller there's not really any exploits to be had. So you can't fall back on that.
It's obviously talking about studying. One of the big topics of the summer, of course, over the win, had a bit of controversy. Was obviously the running sort of back and forth using the solvers with Joe McKeon and Dominic Nietzsche on your roll, on your rail. Of course, you didn't violate any rules at the time. Those rules weren't in place. The WSOP have brought those in. In that initial backlash from the main event win, did you feel that took the shine away at all? Did that affect you, or were you just really not bothered? Let people say what they want to say and see what happens after.
It didn't really bother me as much as a lot of people thought, because it's at the end it's just internet talk. It's what professional athletes tend to go through every day on the internet when somebody does something dumb. And they get it 3 or 4 times more than whatever backlash I got. So I've clearly read them, because when you get tagged on social media, it pops up. But it doesn't really affect you. You just still got to go about your business, because you're you.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I'm glad it's not bothered you, Jonathan, because obviously you're such a nice guy as it is anyway. But obviously now that the WCP have brought in rules thing, and do you think this is a good idea now, just that they've made it crystal clear that this is what you can do and this is what you can't do?
Given the anger afterwards, it's probably a good thing. I'm one of those, just give us the rules of the game and we work around those rules. And if they're clear, there's that, in the NFL, they used to have, before the 4th down fumble rule, you could, the Raiders were able to fumble the ball down the field for a touchdown. They closed that loophole. So anytime somebody finds a loophole, I'm fine with any changes, basically. Because it's clear now what you can and can't do, and it's the same for everybody. It's the same for everybody every year. It's just like when Big Blind Annie was a thing, there were complaints about Big Blind Annie being unfair, where in reality it really isn't unfair, because it's the same for everybody. So as long as it's the same for everybody, I don't have a problem with whatever they do.
There you go. Well, that's great, Jonathan. We know you're just about to sit down now in the 3K. Best of luck with that. Hopefully another title comes your way. A pleasure as always to sit down and speak to you. And yeah, best of luck.
All right. Thank you very much.